Thursday, December 22nd, 2022, and this is the Talk Film Society podcast. I am your host, Marcelo Pico, editor-in-chief of Talk Film Society, here as always with my co-host. Can't do without him. Not yet anyway. Marcus Irving.
Hello, Marcelo. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. All things considered, I'm fine. I'm here, and I'm ready to talk. Awards. What about you, Marcus?
Awards. Everything is great with me too, and I'm just here and I'm ready to talk awards.
We're good. We're fine. Nothing is wrong. Let's move on.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is great.
Like from the movie.
Like from the movie that got nominated for an Oscar, but did not win. Right? Wait, did it even get nominated?
It should have won.
It got nominated, right? Because it
was nominated. I remember the performance on the show. It lost to a song from Selma.
Fine, I guess. That Selma song. I mean, good job. Good job, John Legend. It wasn't John Legend. It was Common. Yes, sorry. I apologize. They both won Oscars, right? John Legend has an Oscar, right?
They both have that in common, yes.
Yeah, they both have that in common. This is going great. So we're doing fine. We're doing great. Nothing is wrong. And what are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about awards. More specifically, the Best Supporting Actors of 2022, right? Tying it all to the awards season of 2022, tying that all to the Talk Film Society Awards, which is Talk Film Society's own Oscar Star Award show that the 10th iteration of which will be held in March of 2023. And so to keep everybody's minds on the awards, we're doing this podcast series so y'all can vote for the Talk Film Society Awards. And the nominations, the ballots, will be up and ready in a week. A week from now. If you're listening to this podcast the day it comes out, check talkfilmsociety.com/TFS Awards and you'll find the ballot where you can vote. But yeah, in a week, the ballot will be there. Again, go to talkfilmsociety.com/TFS Awards where you can vote for the best of the year. But that's coming up. And next episode and, on our website, everywhere else, so we'll get to talk about it. Maybe on Twitter if it's still around by then. But yeah, our Discord. I'll plug that right now in the pre-plugs. If you want to join our Discord and talk more awards stuff, go to talkfilmsociety.com/Discord and join. Only if you're cool. Okay? So there you go. That is the setting the table of the podcast. Now we can actually talk about what we're here to talk about, Marcus. I guess before that, last episode we gave ourselves some homework. We didn't give ourselves homework this episode. We're recording this kind of early than usual. We're recording this on Sunday before we release it on Thursday. What's been going on? Has anything happened since we last talked, Marcus, that you know of, awards-wise? Has anything happened?
Not that I can think of. No, it seems like last week there were a bunch of rewards places putting out their stuff. This week I cannot think of anything that I saw on Twitter or anything. So no new awards news from me.
No, none from me either. We kind of blew our wad in the last 5 minutes of that last episode. We just
should have saved up some of that.
Yeah, that's poor planning on my part. I want to blame myself for that. I guess we can talk about Avatar 2. I know you haven't seen it yet, Marcus.
Unfortunately, yeah, I haven't. But yeah, it seems like that's a pretty big movie.
Yeah, that's a big movie. It opened this past weekend. Close to $500 million worldwide.
Being realistic, what do you think that movie's gonna do at let's say the Oscars?
Yeah, so this is a good opening topic. Thank you, Marcus, for falling for my trap. Avatar: The Way of Water. Me having seen it now, I like it a lot. A technical marvel. Performances are actually very good. I mean. We're way past talking supporting actresses. We talked about that last episode. But
do we have a Zoe Saldana or a alien lady?
Not to, because you haven't seen it yet. I don't want to spoil things, but I'll just say, Sigourney Weaver does something interesting in the movie. Okay, and I wouldn't. Okay, she would be in my honorable mentions list if we did it today.
Oh, wow.
You know, but it's. Okay, I've heard people say though it is an unusual performance, which I am like sure, but I find it more interesting than bad, and I lean towards it being something more significant than strange. Again, it's hard to talk about, and we might talk about it more in future episodes. But to answer your question, at this point, I could see, of course, it'll get the technical awards. It'll get the noms for, special effects, sound, editing. Yes, all the little crumbs, all the little below the line awards. It'll nibble up, much. It'll get those nominations, right? A few wins, I'm sure, but the big boys. I don't think it'll get nominated for any acting categories. Although I don't know, I put money on the off chance that Sigourney Weaver in out of any acting performances, crazier things have happened, and who knows, she might skirt in there. Wildest case scenario, probably not going to happen, but don't rule it out. Okay, stranger things have happened. Again, probably not going to happen. But okay, no acting awards for that. I don't see it realistically. Director, maybe not. Picture, probably. Picture, probably.
Picture,
yeah.
Isn't that the one that it was like along with Batman, kind of helped spur along the 10 nomination thing?
Oh yeah. And to be honest, the only reason I don't think Cameron might not get into the director field in the 5 is because it's a busy top 5 this year. Okay, we'll talk about it in a future episode, but I don't know. I mean, it's going to be close. If he does, I wouldn't be surprised, but chances are he's not going to. But yeah, so
better luck next time, Jim.
Maybe in 2 years for Avatar 3, but I don't know about this one. Because, hey, there are a lot of heavy hitters already this year. Like, Everything Everywhere.
You think you're better than Martin McDonagh?
No. Exactly. I mean, to be honest, the Daniels, Todd Field, Martin McDonagh, who else? Spielberg, of course. Those are the heavy hitters. I'm trying to think of anybody
Spielberg's
else
to lose this year, I think. Not to give away our episode.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. The Daniels give Spielberg a run for his money this year. Not overall, of course. I'm not insane, but no, I could see a path to victory for the Daniels, for Todd Field, for Martin McDonagh, for Steven Spielberg. I do not see that path to victory for James Cameron this year. Sorry, James. But yeah, more on that in a future episode. Marcus, go see the movie. I know you're going to see it eventually, but
I'm going to see it.
I know, it's just a reminder.
I'm not some anti-Avatar weirdo, somebody who hosts one of these podcasts on this network.
Wait, what? Me? Is it me?
No,
okay, sorry.
Somebody else.
Somebody else. You're gonna have to tell me that name off mic, because I'm having a hard time thinking of who could that possibly be. I feared I would be anti-Avatar, to be honest, because I've told you this off mic, and I'm okay talking about it on mic now. Like, I've said that Avatar, the first one for sure, is more like it's a theme park. It's kind of like all flash, no real substance. Revisiting Avatar again this past week, I'm still kind of on that boat with the first Avatar, although it is still very good. Avatar 1, but then after Avatar 2, I'm like, okay, I like Avatar 2 a lot more than the first one. It has a better story. I think its messaging is just more impactful. It makes me feel more things than the first one ever did. So I don't know. I'm gonna see it again on Wednesday. Avatar 2: The Way of Water, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's more than just an experience. I'm totally pro Avatar franchise at this point. Give me 3, give me 4, give me 5, give me 6. So there you go. I'm pro Avatar. Marcus, I'm sure you're pro Avatar too. Avatar as well. And you'll be even more pro Avatar after seeing The Way of Water. Now, I desperately want to know who this anti-Avatar guy is, or gal, but we'll figure it out later, off mic. So now, on to the show, the best supporting actors of 2022. Oh my God, Marcus, was it before we get into it, was this difficult for you to compile your list of the best supporting actors?
A little bit. This one I'm not really close at all to what's going to be nominated. I think I've got 1, perhaps 2. I'm still trying to nail it down to 5. I've got 6 here. So 1 or 2 that have a good chance of being nominated, or no, they will be nominated. But for the rest of them, I did. The 2 supporting categories were kind of, I don't know, hard for me to fill. My best actor and best actress, I was like, check. There's a million of them, and it was hard to nail down. This one, it was hard to nail down just because I was like, how many do I really want to say? Who really impressed me this year?
Yeah.
And you know what? The boys got to step it up. That's all I got to say.
Before we jump into it, I'm kind of in the same boat, or even more so. Usually the best supporting actors are, I don't know, a bit more exciting than this year's crop. Even though there are some great ones, though. I want to emphasize, there are some great ones. And the possible winner of the whole thing.
No, for sure.
Oscar time.
For sure.
And we'll talk about who's in the lead right now, but if they win, I mean, it'd be exciting on many levels. But I don't know, it was harder for me than the last categories we've covered already, because we've done supporting actress, we've done lead actor. Is that it? This is the 3rd episode?
Yep, those are the 2.
It feels like we've done this many more times. I think it's just because me and Marcus podcast so much. But
we talk a lot.
Out of the 3, this one was the hardest for me to come up with. But I think Marcus is right. Hey, dudes, step it up. Come on, step it up. Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
So, format of this is, before we jump into our personal faves, before we jump into the Discord's faves, the Talk from Society Discords, because we asked the question, Marcus asked the question on Discord, hey, Discorders, who are your favorites supporting actors of this year? Before we get into all that, let's go to goldderby.com. That good old Gold Derby.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Oh,
that
yes.
Gold Derby.
The Gold Derby is the site I go to cheat in Oscar pools. They usually get it right. Because they have a bunch of experts, a bunch of people on the site, on their message boards, predicting who's going to get nominated. They list it out.
It's a science. There's a science to this.
Sure, whatever. I also, and we don't need to dig into this a lot, but I also stumbled on Metacritic's sort of deal, which we could maybe say for the end of the show. But I had no idea they were doing the same sort of thing, and it'd be interesting to see how their stacks up against everybody else's. But Gold Derby, okay? I've written down the top 6 on their supporting actor category. So Marcus, like the last 2 episodes, I'm going to have you guess. You have 5 guesses. So guess who they put in the top 6 slots for best supporting actor.
Okay.
Gold Derby.
So here I am going over to our Discord because I know almost none of my picks are a part of this. All right, so who can I be sure of? I can be sure of Ke Kwan for Everywhere Everything All at Once.
You got one, yeah.
Great. I can probably be pretty sure of Brendan Gleeson for Banshees of Inisherin.
You got 2. Good job.
Great. Now here is where I struggle. Paul Dano for The Fabelmans.
You got 3.
All right. Could there perhaps be another Banshees boy in there?
Is that a? I'm gonna need you to give me a firm answer here, Marcus.
I'm gonna need you to give me that hint.
I mean, just say it.
Barry Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan.
Banshees of Inisherin.
You got it. That's 4.
Oh my God! Good golly!
Wow.
All right, I am
2 left.
4 for 4.
Yeah, so these last 2, I'll admit, they're a bit difficult. Okay, I'll give you one. I'm just gonna tell you because you're never gonna get it. Ben Whishaw for Women Talking. Okay, a movie I guess everybody else on this website has seen except me.
Apparently, yeah.
And everybody else in the
world.
The world. Oh, the Women Talking. Although it's gonna be a very interesting episode next episode because we haven't figured out when we're going to record the next episode, but I'm going to bet that by the next time we talk, Marcus, I will have seen The Whale, Women Talking, EO, that sad donkey movie that is playing, and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
And also a documentary I forget the name of. Anyway, I'm going to cross...
Ray Fiennes.
No, not Ray Fiennes. So I'm
Eddie Redmayne.
My hint to you is the last person on this list is a co-star in a movie that you've already mentioned. That is already mentioned in this top 6.
A co-star in either Everything Everywhere All at Once, Banshees of Inisherin, Women Talking, or The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans. There's some kid in The Fabelmans.
If you want to call Judd Hirsch a kid, you got it.
Yeah, he's a young kid.
No. Judd Hirsch is, was he in Taxi? From like... Did he star in Taxi? I'm going to look up Judd Hirsch. You know Judd Hirsch. Just Google Judd Hirsch.
He's in Taxi, yes. I know Judd Hirsch.
That kid from Taxi.
Starred in Ordinary People, which won Best Picture in 1980.
Now, remember we had this conversation last week about... I forget which actress. From Bones and All. She was in one scene, right? And
Chloe Sevigny.
Yes, Chloe Sevigny. Somebody in the Discord name checked her for Best Supporting Actress. And I said, crazier things have happened with a short performance like that because she's only in one scene. Judd Hirsch is only in The Fabelmans for like 2 scenes, really.
Oh, wow. And
just disappears. And he is in the running for Best Supporting Actor, and he might get a nomination. So,
wow.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
I gotta say, I like those nominees.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Ben Whishaw, I'm sure is great. He's always great.
Yeah.
And
whatever.
Yeah.
But he's the one that's like whatever to me. But I mean, he's Paddington. He's Paddington.
Of course,
he's Q, right? Or not Q? M?
No, he's Q. The good Q in James Bond. It's the good Q. Why don't we jump into our personal picks, and then we'll jump into the Discord picks. Who went first last time? I went first, so it's you. You go first this time, Marcus.
Okay, it's my time to shine.
Yeah.
Because we did this last time where we gave a honorable mention, and this is still hard. I don't know which one I'm about to say. It's between one of these 2 young men.
These are your personal picks for Best Supporting Actor, just to be
personal picks.
Completely
yes, this
clear.
Is not me guessing. This is not me guessing the Oscars. No. I know for a fact that my honorable mention, Jake Gyllenhaal in Ambulance, is not going to be nominated for an Oscar.
Okay, yeah, it's very slim, very slim.
Marcelo, can you give me a sly hint as to whether we're going to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal in your deal?
No, he was very close.
Okay. Let's just talk about Jake Gyllenhaal for a second. Yeah. Oh my God, he's so good in Ambulance, right?
He's so good. Okay, listen.
He is.
I'll quickly talk. Like he almost cracked into my honorable mentions. He almost cracked into my top 5. And I really had to think about it. But like on its own, it's such a balls to the wall. I'm in a Michael Bay movie, so I'm gonna give it my everything.
Yes, exactly. It's the quintessential Michael Bay performance.
Yeah.
Like Nicolas Cage level.
Exactly,
Just going for it.
It's going for it. And I gotta give him props. And like, it's the kind of stuff that I am so happy to see in a movie that is starring Jake Gyllenhaal and directed by Michael Bay and set all in Ambulance all around LA. It's such a good movie. And at this point, I can say like Ambulance is like close to making my top 10 of the year. I love it so much. I just put it on for my parents over Thanksgiving break, and they loved it. So yeah, it's a solid performance, and like Yeah, I am very happy that it made it on your honorable mentions. I mean, that's enough of me. But do you have any more Jake Gyllenhaal praise?
Yeah, it's just what I said. It's the perfect performance for that type of movie. It is as Gonzo reflecting as Gonzo as the action in that movie gets. That's what I really like. That's like that shows like he gets what the movie is going for, and he tries to reflect that in his performance.
Yeah.
And also pretty emotional at points.
Absolutely.
Another honorable mention I'm just going to brush by. Justin Long and Barbarian, very fun, very funny.
Yes.
Good source of that movie. Good source of humor in that movie. Okay. Barry Keoghan, my number 5 for Banshees of Inisherin. This young lad.
This dude.
This young lad. This guy. Barry Keoghan, he has impressed me every time I've seen him for the last however many years that he has been showing up in stuff. He is always like struck out to me. He is always like who I focus on whenever he's in a scene. There's something about him that is just so, I don't even know, so entrancing. And he's just a fantastic actor. And in Banshees, he is doing something I've never seen him do. And it feels like he's playing like 10 years younger than he is, which I think I said in the Colin Farrell. I said about Colin Farrell as well, but I really mean that about Barry Keoghan, where he's just like, he's got this very high voice, very thick accent, very thick Irish accent that it's so close to like feeling like a parody, but it doesn't. He still feels like a real person, and it's a fantastic performance, and he's maybe my favorite character in the movie. My favorite performance in the movie is still Colin Farrell, but my favorite character in the movie might be his. He goes through some surprisingly deep stuff that you would not expect when you first see this character, this kind of goofball character. My number 5.
That was number
Barry
5.
Keoghan.
Now, I said just not even 5 minutes ago that the dudes have to step up this year, but I don't know. I'm also going to say Keoghan almost made into my honorable mentions, so I guess I'm a liar. There were a lot of great supporting actor performances this year. And yeah, I agree.
Good job, dudes.
Good job, dudes. You know what? Dudes, you're all right. Because honestly, like, I'm with you. Like, Keoghan, like, he has surprised me, or he's been one of the, like, I'm just going to repeat what you were saying, since The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which I think is like the first time I really noticed him. I'm like, oh God, this guy. What the fuck is up with this guy? And then he's made interesting choices in like Dunkirk and Green Knight, Eternals even, and Banshees. He's like playing something else completely, although it's still kind of in his wheelhouse in a bit, but it
the
surprises
Joker,
you.
of course, the Batman.
Of course, I don't want to mention that. But although here in Wikipedia, he's credited as unseen Arkham prisoner in the Batman. So,
Right, of course.
Right, of course. So,
couldn't possibly guess who it is.
but anyway, hey, you know what? Chances are good he'll be nominated this year for Banshees and not the Batman. All right, that was number 5. Marcus, continue.
Got nominated for the Batman. The third person to get nominated for playing the Joker. He was in it for 30 seconds. Okay, number 4. My number 4 is a legacy pick. This is a man who, much like Jamie Lee Curtis, he wrapped up a long-tenured horror role this year in style. It's David Arquette in Scream.
Ooh, nice pick.
Yeah, not to spoil anything about the movie, but this movie, he feels like the heart of Scream. Scream 5, it's called Scream, but Scream 5, Dewey is Officer Dewey. He's my favorite character from the series. He's always just a real light point, like just a real nice point of levity to those films, and you always fear for him, you always love him. He's just a very, very, very lovable guy, just as David Arquette himself is. We've talked about him a lot in the past on our wrestling show. He had that wrestling documentary, but which I highly recommend. You Cannot Kill David Arquette, anybody out there. But David Arquette, yeah, he does some wonderful stuff in this movie. It's his strongest performance as Dewey to date. It might be his strongest performance ever. I don't know. But yeah, David Arquette in Scream, my number 4.
We can keep going because I'm going to talk about him in my picks. Yeah.
Whoa. Number 3, we're all going to the World's Fair, Michael J. Rogers.
Oh.
I will be mentioning another We're All Going to the World's Fair cast member in our next episode. Okay, so Michael J. Rogers, he plays JLB. He connects with Casey, the main character in the movie, through this game that she's playing that is supposed to morph your body or whatever, the World's Fair contest. He's kind of like a leader in the World's Fair contest, or at least somebody that can be implied that he kind of runs some things behind the scenes, or is just an enthusiast of it. The movie's not very clear. It's left purposefully kind of obscured, but his performance is so light and so tender. I have never seen a performance quite like this, where it really plays to... That movie plays to internet culture a lot, and it focuses on types of people that either are not discussed in movies, or if they are, they're playing a much broader caricature that is not like how people actually are. And he plays a person who just seems like a very soft-spoken, mild-mannered guy in real life who, like, this is his life, is this online game, and this is the thing he likes to do. We get glimpses of his house, and it's like this really nice house, but we only ever see him at the computer because that seems like his only safe space, or his only place where he feels really comfortable. All of that kind of sensitivity and anxiety and uncomfortableness that character has in being himself, in being anything really. He's so quiet, so soft-spoken that it's just... he blew me away. I could not have expected a performance like this ever. And it really did do me in. Now, Marcel, I know you liked that movie. Did you have anything to say about this guy?
We're All Going to the World's Fair, I saw early this past year in a theater filled with people who did not get it, I felt. And I luckily did, which I love that experience. Like, I love just being completely... dumbfounded.
You're all fools
in a good way. I was dumbfounded in a way, but then by the end I'm like, oh, I get it. And I'm excited to see the director Jane Showburn's next work. I believe an A24 film is on the way from them. But yeah, I'm in complete agreement. Michael J. Rogers. So, I mean, there are things I want to say about it, but I don't want to ruin it. I just recommend people go watch it. It's on HBO Max right now, so stream it, folks. It's very good.
Completely different direction. My number 2. My number 2 is Aaron McGahey from Jackass Forever. So, I already nominated Johnny Knoxville for Jackass Forever. I'm doing it again with Aaron McGahey, Danger Aaron, the guy who, when I was watching Jackass as a kid, I didn't really like this guy. He seemed kind of mean. He seemed not really as good as the rest of the group to me. He was never my favorite cast member. But in Jackass Forever, everybody's aged by, whenever Jackass 3 came out, 2012 maybe. So everybody's aged by 10 years or so. Johnny's got gray hair. Everybody's got gray hair. And everybody seems to not necessarily be wanting to do all of the same... they don't want to be reaching the same heights of crazy shit they wanted to do because they brought in these young cast members to do some of that craziest shit just so they can lay off their own bodies, because they are all like 40, 50-year-old men now who can't necessarily go through that anymore. But there's 2 people. There's Aaron McGahey and Dave England, both of whom I would say give it their all as if they had never aged a day. Especially Aaron... He just comes off like the star to me of this movie. He comes off like the heart of the movie. He has the final kick down the door, let's wrap it up finale thing with the bear. He gets covered in honey and put into a room with the bear.
That's one of the best
God, I
scenes.
love Jackass.
In movies.
I love Jackass so much. Yeah. But yeah, Danger Aaron, I love you. Is he the same person as Danger Aaron? Aaron McGahey, I love you, dude. I'm sorry for doubting you all these last few years. Keep it up. If we get a Jackass Forever 2, I hope to see you again. Thank you for your years of service. Okay, my number one, Ke Huy Quan. Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all it, everywhere.
It's everywhere. Folks.
I like this guy. I liked this guy in this movie. I did not like everywhere, 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 but I just fell head over heels for this guy, for Ke Huy Quan in this movie. And I did not know who he was until after I had finished watching the movie, and my mom told me, like, you know, it's Short Round, right? And I was like, what? Oh, yeah, that is. Because I had seen him in interviews and stuff. I just forgot. But anyway, and that made his performance so much more impressive to me. He goes through a lot. Him and Michelle Yeoh and everybody in that movie they're wearing different hats. They're doing all different types of performances. There's doing dramatic, they're doing broad comedy, they're doing action, they're doing kind of more horror-y elements, kind of like the movie is a big mix of stuff. And he does it all so flawlessly, I think. And it's especially the more tender moments where it's him and Michelle Yeoh being sweet with each other that I love him so much. And I love him as kind of just like the dopey kind of dad who doesn't really understand anything that's going on. And there's so many different modes, so many different layers to his performance. It feels like multiple different performances at once. And then when I looked him up afterwards, I was like, this dude has not worked in 30, 40 years, and he gives a fucking masterclass performance like this. I was blown away even further. And it endeared him to me so much that I hope he wins the Oscar. Straight up, I think he will, and I hope he does win this Oscar. This is maybe the most excited I am about a front runner in any race. Yeah, Marcelo, I think that is all of my picks, and I would like to hear yours now.
Okay, Here we go. Some of these match up with yours. Well, actually, just two. Although I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't mention one, which I'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, I'm actually shocked. Okay, so honorable mention, one you previously mentioned, David Arquette in Scream, 2022.
Very good.
I'm in agreement with you. Fantastic performance from him. Again, not to spoil it. Although at this point, I don't know. It's been a year since it's been out. Spoil it. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. Yes, it's the best he's been in this role. It's maybe his best performance of his whole career. Maybe. I mean, that's saying a lot for, like, you know, the fifth Scream movie. But I don't know. It's all in there. And Scream 2022. I'm going to rewatch it this week just to confirm if it's going to be in my top 10. I'm pretty sure it is. And I have high hopes for the next Scream, but we'll see about that. But Scream 5, just as a movie, I think works so well. And it's because of David Arquette. It's like he's a big part of why that movie works so well. But that's honorable mention, David Arquette. Number 5. This is going to be controversial, but I have my reasons for picking number 5. This dude, okay? And you might laugh, Marcus. Mark Rylance and Bones and all.
Marcelo.
Okay. This is a controversial pick. This is a controversial pick.
Go there. I don't know that I can go there. I'm sorry.
This is a controversial pick. I understand.
Yeah, but it's your pick, Marcelo. I respect you.
Here's my rationale for this. Maybe a reason why I said earlier that the dudes in the supporting actor category needs to step up, right? It's because I enjoy the offbeat sort of, you know, villainous roles that some of these character actors like get nominated for. And to me, even though, sure, Mark Rylance has won already, and I just rewatched him in Bridge of Spies, and I thought that was
you're goddamn right he won.
Yeah.
God damn it. He shouldn't have won.
That year was close for me. Because
he beat Stallone.
I know, yes.
Stallone.
Right,
the performance of his damn career. I can't get over it.
I don't know, but Mark Rylance does so much in Bridge of Spies to warrant that award. We can argue about that another time in a special episode where we just go through, you know, the big misses of the Oscars or something. I don't know. But whatever the case may be. I don't know. The Rylance performance and Bones and all, him playing this weirdo cannibal who's like stalking the main characters. I don't know, like that's sort of like the weird twisted performance that I'm into, that I kind of like want to give a claim to. It's purposefully an offbeat choice for a purposefully offbeat performance. So that's my rationale for that. Okay? Now to the more normal ones. Number 4, only because he's in the supporting actor category. I probably would have pushed him into lead actor, but whatever. Paul Dano in The Fabelmans. The complete polar opposite of Mark Rylance. Like, Paul Dano is just this... Because have you seen Fabelmans yet, Marcus?
No, it never came to a theater near me. I was shocked. I would have. Terrible. That is something I would have gone out to go.
Terrible.
But yeah, I think it's available at home now. We'll definitely be seeing it soon. It's just, but yeah, that Paul Dano. I know he's a hell of an actor.
He's a hell of an actor, and it's like the most like understated performance of the year, which is saying a lot considering it's Paul Dano, who was like the villain in the Batman movie like earlier this year. Yeah. And he's like this stoic man in The Fabelmans. All I can think of is like one shot in the movie, and this isn't a spoiler, but who cares if it's a spoiler or not? It's based on real life. It's towards the end of the film. Okay. Everything has happened in the movie. Things have changed in like these characters' lives. And Paul Dano's character opens up a piece of mail, and what he sees in there doesn't make him particularly happy, right? But from what we've seen of this guy for the last like 2 hours, is like he doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. Like, he keeps things hidden. And so when he sees this and when he reacts to it, it's all in a look. Like, he looks out a window, and Spielberg like shoots it like very like off, like it's shot in a way that's like not like a Spielberg shot. It's like distinctly not Spielbergian. It's and I think it captures like that essence of this character at this moment, where you just see the pain in his face and you see everything happening, but it's just in a look. Paul Dano does nothing but look out a window, and you get it. So all I'm trying to say is Paul Dano does a lot in this performance, rather than like be a complete wacko like Mark Rylance in Bones and all. So that's Paul Dano. That's number 4. Number 3, this will be a bit of a surprise. Val Kilmer in Top Gun Maverick. Okay, another sort of unexpected choice, I think, because he does so much with so little too. Val Kilmer can't.
He's another one of those that just isn't in that many scenes.
Yeah, he's in one scene, right? He's just in one scene in the entire movie in Top Gun Maverick.
Do we not get his voice somewhere else, or is it literally just one scene?
I think it's just one scene, and
wow,
and from what I've read, like when he talks in that scene, that's not even him talking. It's like
really,
it's that technology where kind of
AI
what they
voice match.
Kind of what they did with like Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker in the Boba Fett show, whatever, right? But even so, I don't know. He does a lot with just like typing like on a keyboard, looking at Tom Cruise, and just being that sort of sounding board for that Tom Cruise performance that'll probably get Tom Cruise nominated, right, for Best Actor. I don't know. I'm a big fan of it, and again, it's another one of those performances where I don't think the movie would work if it weren't for Val Kilmer in that one scene he's in. So
I agree with you. Yeah. I was surprised to see him in it. I remember all those tweets of his that he was like, "Please let me be in the movie," and I didn't know that anything came of it. And even though I didn't see the movie until months and months after it had been out, I really didn't know, and it was a nice surprise. You mentioned they had the AI voice match his voice, but they still didn't shy away from his disability that he has. He wears that big scarf and he has to type on the keyboard to talk, and the AI voice matching they did, it wasn't like stoic Val Kilmer. It was kind of It surprised me because it felt like that's probably the way Val Kilmer would talk now, and it surprised me when you said it was AI. But yeah, I really there's a lot of bravery in that performance, I think, and I much like I do all of our troops, I salute it. All of our Air Force troops.
Well, I think he's a naval officer in that, Marcus.
All of our naval force, Air Force.
Okay, let's move on. I'm just going to say these top two because, of course, number one, Ke-Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere. I'm going to echo everything you said, Marcus, and I'll just add that. Yeah, I mean, I guess like a running theme through my picks and your picks too. Even it's like these are characters that like really the movies wouldn't be the same without them. It's like they kind of like rely on these supporting actor performances. And of course, Ke-Huy Quan is like you got to have that in the end. If he wasn't there, if his character, even if like somebody else were in that character spot, I don't think it'd be as good. The movie itself.
No, you have to have the performance with the. It's not just the character. It's not the writing. It's him.
It's the performance, right? And he nails.
You got to have a charming man like him.
And God, is he so goddamn charming. He runs the gamut of like being suave, debonair to like geeky, nerdy, even like verges on like pathetic, but it never goes to pathetic because he's just so kind and warm, and it could have veered any other direction, right? But because of his performance, it's solidly like the best of the year, supporting actor wise. Okay, that's number one. Number two is the one I'm surprised you don't have. Although you may be, it's like one of those killing your darling sort of thing. Brendan Gleeson in Banshees. I know you had. I know you had to go with Barry, right? And maybe you have your rationale for not picking Gleeson, but I don't know. Like Gleeson. It's again, it's like another thing where it's that pairing of Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson that makes that movie work, Banshees. And every time I think about that movie, it's like that performance of Gleeson, how in the end it's like, or in the middle of the movie even, it's like menacing, where he threatens to do these things that are terrible. And he does some of them, and you believe him. And that sort of like haunting performance is like what gets me, and I do love him for that, and that's why he's like my number two. Anyway, those are my top five and my honorable mention, Marcus. Any thoughts as we wrap up our picks?
So yeah, I'll just say Brendan Gleeson is absolutely fantastic. I do love him in the movie, and yeah, you said it. It's like killing your darlings. I just felt like there's something about Barry Keoghan, man, that it's something I more want to give. And there's some part of it that just feels like by me going so hard for Colin Farrell, I feel like I'm also going really hard for Brendan Gleeson at the same time, because they just feel like just two sides of the same coin in that movie. They really do play off each other so incredibly well.
Yeah.
And yeah, now that you say it, I probably should have had him in there.
No, you don't have to change it.
I love my picks, but
you love your picks are great, and honestly, I'd put Barry Keoghan like right below or at the same level as David Arquette in my honorable mentions, like because I think Keoghan and Gleeson in that movie are fantastic, and hey, that something we can all agree on at this point is like Banshees of Inisherin, some great performances.
He's so funny. He is so funny.
Yeah,
and it's an actor's movie, and everybody across the board really just nails it. And I apologize to Mr. Gleeson.
No apologies necessary. He would say. I'm putting words in his mouth. Okay. Those are our picks. Now, do we open up the Discord? Do we open it up?
Opening up the Discord. Here we go.
Opening up the Discord. Here we go.
Here we do.
Here we go.
Okay, so our very first... I put out the call.
Yeah, so you asked the question.
You've been the one putting out the call. I'm the one that put it out this time. I was worried nobody would answer me, because with you, there's a little bit of an intimidation factor. But we did get some great responses here. Very first response we got from the real Matt C. co-host of yours on We're All Talking About Movies or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
It's Stephen Lang in Avatar 2, I assume.
Yes, Avatar.
He
wasn't in Bones and All. Or, although he would have been great in Bones and All, playing a cannibal. That would have been sweet.
Yeah, I would have liked that.
Yeah, Stephen Lang.
Yeah, Stephen Lang. Stephen Lang, Avatar 2. I can't speak to it.
Can I speak to it? Can I have the floor for a minute?
Please.
Can I
Please
speak?
do. I would love to hear it.
Stephen Lang in The Way of Water, in Avatar: The Way of Water. I don't know how much you know about how big of a role Stephen Lang plays in Avatar 2. Now that I talk about it, like, do you want me to get into it, or because
hold on a second? Here's my memory of Avatar. I thought he died. I don't remember. I haven't seen Avatar in a decade. I thought he died, but I'm guessing he didn't. I'm guessing he was led away. No, because Sigourney Weaver did die.
Yeah.
And she's back. But in a different role, I understand. But I have seen... So I'm guessing he was one of the ones like Giovanni Ribisi who was just carted away at the end and said, everybody's great. Everything's great now that we that we got the capitalist in chains. But I do remember his performance pretty vividly in that movie, that he's like this... he's doing what Stephen Lang does, which is great. So, but I have seen little bits and pieces of Stephen Langatar.
Okay.
The Navi Lang.
Okay.
And I don't know how it gets to that point, but I'm very curious.
So, yeah, I was wondering about that, if you knew that Stephen Lang's character was now a Navi. Okay.
I sent you a photo today of that character, so I would hope.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. Okay. It reminds me I need to respond to you about that. Okay. Stephen Lang, having rewatched Avatar 1 this past week, I think he's the best thing about Avatar 1, in my opinion. That performance, that villainous performance, right? It's cartoonish.
Madcap.
He's playing top tier, twirling mustache sort of villainy in 1, and in 2, I'll just say he does that, but also adds a little twist, little depth. Okay, so I can totally see, especially the real Matt Curione picking Stephen Lang, because I can see it. We can move on.
You can see it.
I can see Matt picking it. Yeah.
All right, so our next list. Oh, Jay McMillan always getting in there early. I appreciate it. Ke Kwan in Everything, Everywhere, All Everywhere. We've got Brendan Gleeson in Banshees. Ralph Fiennes in The Menu. I have not seen The Menu. Talk a little bit about Ralph Fiennes, because he's going to come up a few more times. Yeah,
I'll just say Ralph Fiennes gives, if anything, The Menu is pure entertainment, right? Yeah. I think with a handful of very good performances, the best of those performances being Ralph Fiennes as the villainous chef in the movie. And right after I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, that reminds me, not like Schindler's List level Ralph Fiennes, but definitely like Red Dragon Ralph Fiennes. Okay. Outstanding performance from Ralph Fiennes. In real life, true villain who...
Doesn't Ralph Fiennes suck? I can't remember.
Yeah, in real life, true life villain, because he defended J.K. Rowling and
that's great.
Notorious TERF J.K. Rowling. Ralph Fiennes and Helena Bonham Carter both went to J.K.'s defense. Good actor though.
Go fuck yourself, Ralph Fiennes. And his next pick, I also say, go fuck yourself, Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse. I had no idea what this is. I do not care. I'm going to move past it.
The Good Nurse, co-starring Jessica Chastain, by the way.
Sammy Slimane in Athena. I don't know anything about this.
Okay, so Athena, if I'm correct, and I'll do a quick search, is on Netflix now. Apparently, the running theme I've heard from reactions is it's amazing. You won't believe your eyes the way they shot this thing. It's an extraordinary production.
Netflix movie.
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie. Well, I don't know if it's a Netflix original, but it's definitely one that's on Netflix.
Distributed by Netflix.
Yeah. So check it out. I will check this out and see what's
French
up.
language, French and Arabic. It says.
Yeah.
Awesome. That seems really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Noah Thompson. Another frequent responder to these polls. He gives us Kehoi Kwan. He gives us Christopher Abbott on the count of 3. No clue. Not an idea.
On the count of 3 is... I'll do a quick
1,
search.
2, 3.
It is a movie about suicide.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Good job, Christopher Abbott.
Hold on. Directed by Gerard Carmichael. Starring Gerard Carmichael and co-starring Christopher Abbott. These two characters are on a journey out of a psychiatric ward, and they both intend to kill themselves by the end of the day.
Okay.
So the trailer says, from my memory. But yeah,
That sounds good.
It sounds good.
Do you think they do it?
We'll have to see the movie, don't we?
That'd be pretty weird, right?
I mean, hey,
No.
I mean, crazier
Do you think
things have
we'll do
happened.
that?
Oh, do you think we'll do that? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, by the end of the series, we will.
By the end of this. All right. Stephen Yeun in Nope. Let's talk about Stephen Yeun.
Okay, he almost made my list, and I feel bad for not including him on my list. Actually,
I was surprised. You didn't have him.
I was just
Playing
saying.
Jupe?
I was just saying this the other day with somebody. They had just watched Nope for the first time, and I was like, once again, praising Stephen Yeun and his performance in it, especially that one monologue about SNL and Chris Kattan. It's multi-layered. It's incredible. You definitely see him as this child actor who's just went through a lot and trying to process that in his own, child actor grown-up way that leads him to his end. Not to spoil it. I guess that's a spoiler. Whatever. It's Nope. Go see it. But yeah, that's how I feel about Nope and him. Marcus, do you have any thoughts on Stephen Yeun and Nope?
Not really, no. I don't know. I thought he was good in the movie. I don't necessarily see it that everybody says.
I get it, and I guess the reason why
I like Stephen Yeun a lot. I really do. But he just didn't necessarily hit it for me.
I totally see that, and that's probably why he's not on my list, because it's just barely there for me. Like, it was almost incredible, but I think it's still amazing though what he does. I know that's a contradiction.
He maybe gets cut out of the movie a bit too early, or I wish when he was doing his big rodeo stuff, maybe he had played it up more, but he just doesn't. Like, he plays it with this timidness that I didn't necessarily feel was right. But look, I'm who am I?
You're Marcus Irving.
I'm Marcus Irving. Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Noah also says, and they say David Bradley for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which we have a few more of those that get said. I still have not seen Pinocchio, but David Bradley, I assume he plays a character?
Yes, he is in the movie Pinocchio as a character.
Is he Geppetto?
He is Geppetto. How'd you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. David Bradley, by the way, he's another one of those. It's like a running theme throughout the series. Google him, and
I gotta see him.
Google him, and you'll know exactly who he is. I just saw him in The World's End.
Yeah.
The World's End. He played a bit role in that.
This evil man in Game of Thrones.
He does so much with just being a voice performer. David Bradley. A lot of that cast does a lot in their voice acting with that movie. Anyway, we'll talk about. I'm sure we'll talk about more Pinocchio later. But yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. He also mentions Jake Gyllenhaal in Ambulance and Rowan Campbell in Halloween Ends, which is my favorite performance of that movie. He's my favorite aspect of that movie. He's playing Corey, the guy who kind of becomes a new sort of Michael Myers type. I loved him in that movie. I think Rowan Campbell is really fun. And I think there's a lot of layers to that character that, like, make him the most important character of the movie, make him the most compelling character of the movie by far, to me. And, shout out Rowan Campbell. I tried to say him in Best Actor, or I tried to defend somebody saying him in the Best Actor category, but he's a supporting character. I get it.
No, I'm pretty much with you. I think he is the most interesting. Although I do love Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie, and I think I think it was excellent casting picking Rowan Campbell, who I don't know I've seen him anything else in anything else, right?
I don't know either. He comes off perfectly as this kind of like geeky nobody.
But I know people have problems with that movie, and I don't care. But I think he's like when he's facing off against Jamie Lee Curtis, like in certain scenes, I think it plays well. Like I think he's a good like antagonist in that movie for a long stretch. But anyway, I somebody tweeted out hey, Rowan Campbell should be Clark Kent / Superman. I'm like, yeah, do it. Okay. I see that.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
But I do like him. I do.
I'd prefer to see him acting in movies.
Controversial take.
Not the Who's Tommy, our beloved Thomas Mariani, one of the co-hosts of Double Edge Double Bill, along with Adam Thomas. He says Paul Dano in The Fablemans. He says Ke Huy Quan in Everywhere, Everywhere. I'm actually trying. Everywhere, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. There we go. I had to start with everything. Barry Keoghan in Banshees, Stephen Yeun in Nope. And he says, this one's interesting, Ethan Hawke in The Black Phone. I do want to talk about this for just a second.
You know what? Yeah. Okay, can I say something real quick?
Please, yeah.
The Black Phone is a solid horror movie that kind of just like disappeared this year for me. In a slew of like amazing horror movies, some of which ended up on my top 10 this year. Like The Black Phone just like disappeared. Although I thought it was a solid little movie, but I don't know, for whatever reason. I guess it just didn't stick with me. But I don't know. Thinking back on it, I think Ethan Hawke is like very good as like the villain. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll just say it tried to be sort of an original horror movie and like trying to create its own iconography and sort of like going for this gimmick, which I won't spoil, that seemed to be innovative, right? But I don't know, for whatever reason, like all of that just didn't stick for me anyway. But I like it. I like it though.
I agree with you. I can echo every sentiment there. Totally rock solid, but it's something you don't really have to think about all that much, or will think about. It will kind of disappear from your head, but like I totally recommend it. I've seen it twice. I watched it again here at home, and I thought the same thing again, where I was just kind of surprised, like, oh yeah, this is totally solid. And then I have kind of forgotten about it since, but yeah, Ethan Hawke and the main kid, they're really the only two people in the movie, but they play off each other really well. Ethan Hawke's weird little mask. I was expecting more from the movie because, I mean, it's the man that directed Sinister, and Sinister is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. But it just kind of goes for breezy, sort of light tone that pretty light on the scares, more kind of like more of a the thought is scary, and it feels like a very personal movie to Scott Derrickson.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And Ethan Hawke, he plays kind of just like a quintessential boogeyman character that I really enjoyed him as. He's really good in the movie. I'm not going to say he's not, but it just was not quite what I was expecting as a movie. But his play with the mask is really fun. Okay, Jessica Scott. She says Ke Huy Quan in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Barry Keoghan in Banshees. Brendan Gleeson in Banshees. She had the gall to put them both on there.
Stronger person than you are.
Stronger than I, stronger than you.
Yeah.
Stephen Yeun in Nope. And Tim Roth in Resurrection. That one's interesting to me.
Have you seen Resurrection, Marcus?
I have not.
I believe it's on Shudder now. It's on Shudder. Get it while it's hot. But Rebecca Hall in that movie.
Oh yeah, I do want to see this. Yeah.
Get ready to talk about her next episode for lead actress. I mean,
I'll do some homework.
I'm not going to say she's going to end up on mine, or at least I don't think so. But I might be wrong in my reevaluation of my list. But I'm sure people in the Discord they're going to bring her up, because hers is definitely one of the best of the year all around. Rebecca Hall in Resurrection, Tim Roth playing against her. Of course, Tim Roth is going to be a great villain. And yeah, he plays a great villain in Resurrection. So yeah, I totally see Tim Roth getting some attention here from good old Jessica Scott. But yeah, Resurrection, go see it.
Okay, our friend Jurassic Griff, friend of the site, Jesse, he says he's glad that Stephen Yeun was getting mentioned so much, but he also wanted to bring in Michael Wincott and Brandon Perea in Nope. Michael Wincott, I believe, plays the cinematographer, and then Brandon Perea plays the handyman camera guy, right?
Yeah.
But both of them very good. I'd say Michael Wincott. Other than this movie's full of great performances now that I think about it, but other than Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya, I'd say Michael Wincott's up there with both of them. Very fun performance, I'd say.
Absolutely.
And we can talk about it more here in a second with Sam Shot First, friend of the site, co-host or host of Can't Believe It. Great podcast. Go check it out. Host of more podcasts. Host of what's the Lord of the Rings? Going Helm's Deep, our Lord of the Rings podcast.
Yeah.
Co-host of that. Okay, we also got Ke-Huy. He says Ke-Huy Kwan in Everything. He says Michael Wincott in Nope. There we go. There's another chance to talk about him. Stephen Yeun in Nope. Edward Norton in Glass Onion. David Bradley in GDT's Pinocchio. So if you have anything to say about Michael Wincott, say your piece. But I do want to hear you say a little bit about Edward Norton. I still haven't seen Glass Onion.
Oh boy,
Edward Norton good?
You're gonna get your chance to see Glass Onion this Friday on Netflix when it opens.
Yep.
Friday, December 23rd, worldwide on Netflix. Check it out, folks. Ed Norton, I mean, Eddie
Nortz.
He was in consideration to be on my list, but I thought, there are other great performances in that movie. And as much as I love Ed Norton, although I know in real life he's like an asshole,
seems like it.
This is not like a slight against him in the movie. He is kind of like playing sort of a version of other characters
he's playing Edward Norton.
Yeah, he's kind of playing Edward Norton. It's not a bad thing. I think it fits the movie. But I mean, all around it's like a solid cast. But he's just Nortoning around. But yeah, and then Michael Wincott. Yeah, solid. I mean, he's maybe the only actor who can pull off reciting the lyrics of Purple People Eater and it getting both a laugh and like chills, down the spine of its audience. But yeah, I like him a lot.
Okay, our next one here we have Ben Miller, who says Ke-Huy Kwan, Brendan Gleeson, Paul Dano, Barry Keoghan, and he also says Brian Tyree Henry. So Brian Tyree Henry, he did not give movies here. So Brian Tyree Henry could be referring to Causeway or Bullet Train. I've seen Bullet Train.
Can we hold on? Okay, so can we do the two scenarios where either it's Causeway or Bullet Train? So I can speak on Causeway.
Yeah.
I have not seen Causeway, but all I know is it's on Apple TV. It's starring Jennifer Lawrence in her comeback.
It's that movie.
Yeah. And he is great. I think I mentioned him before because Jennifer Lawrence was brought up before, and I'm like, yeah, that movie Causeway, they're both amazing in it apparently. But yeah, Causeway, I don't know if I'm going to see it. To me, it's like another one of those contenders that like, if it gets a lot of nominations, yeah, I'll have to see it. But for now, I'm like, I'll wait. So that's Causeway. So, but what if he... But what if he's like referencing Bullet Train?
Bullet Train.
Marcus, can you speak on that?
And you know what? Look, so Bullet Train, he plays twins with what's his name? I do really
Aaron
like
Taylor
this
Johnson.
Actor. Aaron Taylor Johnson. He plays twins with Aaron Taylor Johnson. If there's anything about Bullet Train that works, my friend literally just messaged that he watched Bullet Train and loved it. But if there's anything about Bullet Train that just 100% works, I think it is those two playing off each other. I think they are very funny. I think they're the only two that should have been allowed to be those comedic relief characters, and I think everybody else should have played it more seriously if I'm critiquing the movie. But in all honesty, Brian Tyree Henry, Aaron Taylor Johnson, both of them, I think you nominate them together, and I think that's a good pairing. But I'm going to guess he meant Causeway.
Yeah. I think that's a safe bet. And by the way, I narrowly dodged seeing a Bullet Train again because I saw it once in theaters, but my parents, as I was scrolling through movie selections when I was back home for Thanksgiving, they were like, "Oh, what's that, Bullet Train?" I go, let's watch something else instead. I'm okay with not seeing Bullet Train again. But no, he's very good in it with Aaron Taylor Johnson. I agree with you. All right, we can move on.
Okay, a most lawyerly James. I'm not sure who this is, but they say Sammy Slimane and Athena. I'm glad to hear you chime in. Anybody new, come in, chime in. I would love to hear you. He says Sammy Slimane and Athena. We heard that before. Brendan Gleeson in Banshees. Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway.
Or Bullet Train.
So, okay. No, he actually says
He says,
they actually say Bullet Train.
Okay.
Yes. They say Ke Huy Quan. They say Paul Dano in The Fablemans and Eddie Redmayne in The Good Nurse. Nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
Okay, now, do you have anything to say?
Nothing to say. Solid picks, James.
Nothing to say. Okay, Sky65Z. They say, they specifically wanted to throw in some ones that had not been said yet. This is our final list here. Oh, no, we have Emily VS down there. She says, Emily says Mark Rylance and Bones and All. That's her one pick. And
somebody is with me.
Somebody, not only somebody, but you also have Emily and you have Sky65Z. They say they do say Mark Rylance and Bones and All. They say Rory Kinnear in Men, which I would count that as lead, I would think. Ray Fiennes in The Menu. And then we have 4 more here. Jake Gyllenhaal in Ambulance. And ones that have not been said before, Bill Skarsgård in Barbarian, which is interesting. I mentioned Justin Long, and I get Bill Skarsgård, though. I think without that character, that movie doesn't work, and without him specifically being cast, that movie doesn't work. You got to have a person like him who you just instantly distrust because you know he's Pennywise. It's such smart casting, and he throws you off the trail really, really good.
Yeah, I love that line in the opening sequence that when he's meeting the true lead of the movie, and he says something like, "Oh God, what does he say?" He's like, "I'm not a monster," even though clearly we've seen him play monsters before. You know, I think brilliant casting putting him in that movie.
Fantastic casting. Yeah. That's best casting decision of the year.
Yes, that's the new award here on the podcast.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe in The Northman. Yes, but I'm going to be honest here. When I think of The Northman, I'm not thinking of Willem Dafoe. I'm thinking of Alexander Skarsgård. I'm thinking of Nicole Kidman. I'm thinking of Anya Taylor-Joy. But yes, Willem Dafoe, very, very good in The Northman, as he always is. You can never say, like, Willem Dafoe sucked. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Never.
Never. And their last pick that I really liked is Pedro Pascal in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh.
Which, yes, oh my God. You talk about a charming performance, like a really cute performance in a cute movie. There you go.
No, that is a solid choice because I've been saying that all year. Pedro Pascal and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Just wonderful.
It's like a hug. It's a warm hug, that performance.
Oh my God.
Because you can tell he's having the time of his life playing against Nicolas Cage, and that's
it's so pure. It's so pure.
and
that's the word I use.
And it just so happens that that's like the character he's playing. That's his motivation too. It's like it's doubly amazing. Anyway, yeah, Pedro Pascal.
We'll be saying him for the Emmys next year as he stars in The Last of Us.
I don't know if this person is going to listen to this podcast, but somebody who will not be named recently said on our Discord that Pedro Pascal has a punchable face, or he does not like Pedro Pascal, right?
What are you talking about?
That makes no sense. That makes no sense to me, man. If you listen to this, what the hell are you talking about? Get out of here.
Get a grip.
Get a grip.
No. We're joking.
We're kidding around. But no,
seriously, get a grip.
Get a grip. Get a handle on your life. And this goes for anybody who doesn't like Pedro Pascal. Get a handle on your life.
Just figure your shit out. I don't know what your problem is, but it's a you thing. Okay?
Yeah. Don't dump your shit on me. You know about you,
bro. Come on.
Go to therapy.
Okay.
All right. right. Now is that the Discord? Is that
yeah?
close
That's the end of our Discord.
Right.
That's the end of our picks. Everybody's picks have been submitted.
Woo! All right. This is
and you can submit your picks officially next week.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you're in the Discord by the time we ask the question for next week's episode, then yes, you can.
Yeah, get in there. Give us, even if you only got one to say, and it's from like a movie you don't think people would talk about. We want to hear it.
Yeah. So we
love those offbeat choices.
talkfilmsociety.com/Discord to jump in the Discord and join us.
And we're doing Best Actress next week.
Best Actress next week.
Yes, our last acting category, I think.
Yeah. And then after that, I forget. I had the page open, but who knows?
Who knows? Whatever. We don't know what we're doing. Flying by the seat of our pants here.
We are. And this is a long episode. I said earlier we might jump into the Metacritic thing. I'm going to briefly mention it because I think it's interesting. And
what the hell is this?
We might talk about it in future episodes. So I just found this out. So Metacritic does their own little scorecard. It's literally called Film Awards and Nominations Scorecard from Metacritic.
Ugh.
Which famously Metacritic. How do you view Metacritic, Marcus?
I view them very poorly because I'm a fan of the video game industry.
Yes.
And in the video game industry, they hold heavy weight. It's well known that a lot of companies have you get bonuses if the movie is if your video game gets like an 80 or more on Metacritic or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Which is notoriously hard to do, right? Because they kind of weight things differently than Rotten Tomatoes, right?
They weight things really lowly, like critically acclaimed things that will get in the 70s. It's a really weird system. It's not as I know people shit on Rotten Tomatoes for this, but Rotten Tomatoes at least kind of makes sense to me. It's like a yes or a no, a thumbs up or thumbs down. And Metacritic is they actually put every single opinion on a from 0 to 100 score. And they merge all of those together. And even when the person doesn't give a number in their review, they still give it a number.
Wow.
And it feels very arbitrary, and they are they hold a large place in a lot of people's lives that I don't think is fair at all. Metacritic, what do you got? So
now it's time to put a lot of weight from them on us when we talk about the scorecard. Yeah. Okay. Now this to me is just an interesting experiment that they're doing here, that they've been doing apparently for over 10 years. That I have no idea that this was a thing. So their scorecard works like this. So movies get points as the award season continues. But the points break down this way. They get 1 point for being nominated or for being listed for an award. 2 points for being a runner-up. And 3 points for winning an award. Okay? And these points accumulate through the season. Right now, we can just run through some of these. We can jump.
Yeah, we'll check in with this later too.
Yeah. But for right now, with all the points up through December 18th, which they just updated, apparently Philadelphia and St. Louis and Utah just announced their awards winners. I'm assuming Critics Awards winners. So let's look at the points board according to Metacritic. Who's in the lead? Best Picture. I'll do a top 5. Okay. Number 5, they got Top Gun Maverick with 15 points.
Wow.
Then The Fabelmans with also 15 points. And then Tar with 23 points. Banshees of Inisherin with 27. And number 1 with 41 points, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah.
Wow.
So points-wise, Everything Everywhere is cleaning up.
Crushing.
Yeah, so we're not going to go through all of them. We'll jump through. We'll jump to supporting actor just to close off this episode. Paul Dano is number 6 with 6 points. Okay. And hey, look, Mark Rylance is number 5 with 6 points. Look at them. Look at him.
Was he on Gold Derby at all?
I think he was at Gold Derby. He was at number 11 on their list.
Okay.
Right below.
I don't want him to get that nomination.
He's not going to. Don't worry. Although I don't know, crazier things have happened, as I keep saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go through the rest of these. Barry Keoghan, number 4 with 7 points. Brian Tyree Henry, Causeway for with 9 points. So Brian might get in there. And then the top 2, of course, Brendan Gleeson with 24 points and Ke-Huy Quan with 49 points. So wow, so he's
Wonderful.
Definitely in the lead.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do this before we wrap up. Finally, who are our picks for who's going to win that precious Oscar come March? So we got to do this like we did.
Wait, okay, we haven't done this yet.
We have. Because remember in episode 1 when we talked about lead actors?
Yes, we did. Yes, we
Austin
did. And you know what? At this point, I'm switching it. I'm saying Colin Farrell wins.
You're saying Colin Farrell? Okay, wow. I have to write this down. I have to keep track of this. So in episode 1...
Yeah, you got to switch.
In episode 1, we both said Austin Butler for lead actor for the Oscar. But Marcus is going to change it up and go with Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
Okay. So
I'm saying
you made the switch.
I'm calling my shot.
Okay. Episode 2, I said Stephanie Sue for Everything Everywhere. And you said Carrie Condon, right?
I did say, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, look, right now, I'm a Banshees guy. Banshees for life.
Banshees. I mean, it's a solid choice because, hey, last time a Martin McDonagh film came out, a lot of actor awards went to those.
And this time, nobody's turning on this movie, which I appreciate. Yeah.
And now,
I still like 3 Billboards. Sorry.
3 Billboards is fine. I was happy to see Sam Rockwell win an Oscar, I'm a big Frances McDormand guy, and I'm glad she won. Although she won again like 2 years later, but it was fine. It's whatever.
Whatever.
This week, who are we picking? Okay, this is very okay. Should we? Yeah. I mean, is it going to be obvious? Are we both going to say the same thing? Hold on. Let's on the count of 3.
Obvious. I think
on the count of 3, okay. We'll say who we think is going to win the Oscar at this point. Right. December 18th or whenever the show comes out. Late to mid December. Here's who we think is going to win Best Supporting Actor. The Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Ke-Huy Quan.
Ke-Huy Quan. Okay.
Ke-Huy Quan.
There we go. We did it, folks. We predicted the Oscars.
He's going to win. I don't think there's any... look, Brendan Gleeson's probably the number 2 choice, and I don't know. I see it, but at the same time, I don't see it. I think Ke-Huy Kwan's going to win.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a wonderful little moment up there on the stage.
Yeah, let's hope so. And hey, we only have to wait 3.5 more months to see it happen. Marcus, thanks as always. This was fun.
Had a great time.
Great talk with you, as always. Why don't you start the plug section? Just talk.
Geez. You can follow me on Twitter at Junkblader. I'm not allowed to plug any of my other social medias, but if you want to try to guess what my handle is, by my Twitter handle, you can probably do that. You can also listen to Marcelo and I's podcast about the film Southland Tales. It will be coming back in the new year. We did a parts 1 through 12 breakdown of the film, and we're going to be coming back with some special guests to talk about the film even more in depth than we already have, coming at it from new perspectives, I think. And we're going to be talking about Richard Kelly's later work, The Box. And even more fun stuff to come with that show. It's called Have a Nice Apodcalypse. Check it out. Apocalypse, but with pod in there.
TalkFilmSociety.com/Southland Tales to access that podcast, to subscribe to it, to see what we've done collectively, Marcus and I. As for me, go to TalkFilmSociety.com. As always, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/TalkFilmSociety, TalkFilmSociety.com/TFS Awards, TalkFilmSociety.com/Discord, TalkFilmSociety.com/newsletter. I'm making it very easy. for folks. Okay, TFS
I'm not on
Awards
that
Discord
newsletter. I should do
newsletter. I haven't sent out a new one in months and months and months, but I'm going to send out a new one once the ballot is up for the Talk Film Society Awards. So subscribe to that newsletter.
Getting it.
Yeah,
Doing
there
it.
you go. That's it. Next week, stay tuned because we're going to do another one of these. We're going to wrap up the acting categories with Best Lead Actress, which I can't wait to talk about because I have opinions, I have thoughts, I'm excited. I mean, I think we saved the best for last in terms of acting categories. I think this is going to be a fun episode next week, Marcus. And hey, but by this time next week,
It's going to be a roaring one.
by this time next week, I'll have seen Women Talking, and we'll be talking about women. So with that,
Women be talking.
thanks for listening, folks. See you at the movies. No, I never say that. All right, bye.